This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Wednesday edition of a numbers game here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Brown in for Gil. Kelly Bidlin here on the desk with me as we sit down. Some breaking news coming through over in the National Basketball Association. There will be no Kyrie Irving this year in the National Basketball Association, as they say he will take that extra time to make sure that he is healed for next year.
Well, I think that makes complete sense, Matt, with where the Dallas Mavericks are at.
I was going to say, I wonder if they sat him down and had a conversation and said, guess what? We would prefer you to take that extra time to make sure that you're nice and rested.
Yeah, I think there was probably some of that. You and I were just talking about real quick before we hopped on air. There was different. Yes, there was hope, and I think it was. Thought it was always an interesting conversation preseason about what his timeline was really like, and if you were doing win totals and everything for the Mavericks, right? Even Mavericks team that looked very different just 6 months ago than it does now. Should you be factoring him in? And it was very split. I thought with people of like, well, if he comes back, like watch out for this Mavericks team. And a lot of people were like, he's not coming back. You should not be factoring him in at all. And it was at the time kind of similar to the Tatum conversation, right? A different injury.
Right.
But honestly, Tatum's a little bit more, you view that as a little bit more severe injury. But there had only been kind of positive updates about Tatum, and there still is. So kind of interesting to compare the two, but obviously Boston in a very different place in the standing.
Yeah, coming through here, agent tells ESPN this is about Kyrie being 1,000% when he comes back and giving himself the best chance to chase a championship next season. So obviously, Kelly, from a betting standpoint, and we're going to actually talk wins and things like that a little bit later, some head-to-heads and all of our final thoughts here on the NBA before they get going again tomorrow. But from a betting standpoint, if you were betting on the come with the Mavericks that, Kyrie might come back for the last 15 games or something or whatever, and maybe they go on a little streak, he is not going to be coming back. So do not factor that into your handicapping moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other one that I can't get out of my head from what Drew said yesterday is what do the Mavs eventually join the rest of the tanking crowd and look for a reason to shut down Cooper Flag?
Well, even if you don't shut him down, it is a very easy thing to just be like, hey, we're going to limit this dude's minutes. By the way, he's an infant. He's 19 years old, and he's never played this much before and all of that. I mean, it's a pretty easy sell to the fans and everything, too, and even to the league. I mean, while it is definitely tanking, it is at least tanking cloaked in the what's in the best interest for the player. This is not like we're sitting a fully healthy player just for an entire game because we want to lose the game. This is, we're going to play him 19 minutes a night or something like that, and that's just going to be the way that it is because we want to make sure that he's not going to be overworked.
I get that. No, but I don't think that's in the player's best interest. It's in the team's best interest moving forward. But the player's
I
best
said they're framing it as the player's best. So it's we all know it's tanking. I'm saying, but you can frame it that it's in the player's best interest.
I think that's
you don't want to overwork it.
I think that's a tough sell though when the kid's about to win Rookie of the Year. Like Con Knippel is right on his heels.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he deservedly so. And I think that's the problem that you're at. Like, if this could have easily, if Con Knippel didn't exist, this could kind of be wrapped up. You could play the whole, we're going to play him 20 minutes down the stretch, and he'd still cruise the Rookie of the Year. I think this is too tight of a race for you to do that. So I mean, maybe it's your play.
Maybe you could do it the last 10 games of the year.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I think
if he has extended the lead, you could do that last 10 games of the year.
I think it is a fascinating situation to watch, though. Because
listen, you have a con ticket. We've talked to some other people. I mean, hearing this, knowing that they might be looking towards next season, I don't hate anyone who is rushing right now to go put in a con ticket.
I mean, this news clearly only furthers the possibility that does happen for what Drew's talking about yesterday. So, yeah, interesting.
Interesting news.
I thought my con tickets were dead. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's been great to see them in there the whole time, but I thought those were dead.
It's one team playing for something, one team that obviously has decided they are not going to be playing for anything. So, again, no Kyrie Irving here this season in hopes that he will be able to chase a championship.
I mean,
next year, guess what? If they get in the lottery and do well again, Who knows?
Well, it just, just to really, for everybody, especially the radio audience out there, like just to, we've talked a lot about these tanking teams, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Utah Jazz, right? Like the Grizzlies are 1.5 games better than the Mavericks, and the Jazz are 2 games worse. Like that's it. They're right in that mix. So it's, if they want to flip that switch and head that direction, they could easily join this group.
All right, let's get in. We'll get into the show. This was literally coming through 30 seconds before we came on air here. Will Hill going to join us a little bit later in the show. Nick Whalen on the desk with us as he is in
Nick in Vegas.
Las Vegas here. So we will go ahead and get all his opinions here. We won't even have to. You know what? I'm going to not explain the Twitter handle on purpose and see if he does it on his own. So that's the long tease here whenever we get him in.
He hates it. He hates it.
Yeah, we're just going to get him in here.
Way one.
Way one. So we'll get to all that. If you want to join the conversation, obviously at Matt Brown M2, at Kelly Bidlin as usual over there on the Twitter machine. If it's a good take, even if it's a funny hate, we'll read it. But you gotta come good here.
Oh yeah. But keep them coming. I dropped the ball yesterday. I meant to circle back to them once or twice and totally forgot.
So it was a packed night in college basketball with a ton of different outright upsets. Michigan did win and cover, however, that was not an upset. They covered the 2.5 on the road against Purdue, 91-80. Michigan led at half, 48-32, Kelly. So it was a tough comeback there for Purdue. They did win the second half on the scoreboard, but it doesn't really matter. Purdue only turned it over 6 times, forced 14 Michigan turnovers, but then you look a little bit further down the box score and you see that Michigan shot 53% from the floor, 57% from 3, and oh, by the way, they had 13 offensive rebounds as well. So if you do the math, they were 30 of 57 from the floor, Kelly Bidlin. That means they got every other shot they missed as an offensive rebound. So
that's good.
That's gonna work out. It's gonna work out for you. If you're missing on the offensive end and getting the rebound to get another opportunity, that's gonna work out more times than not.
I was kind of like, this is like partially where I was dead wrong about the Rockets early in the season. I'm like, they got one guy who can shoot the ball and a lot of great rebounders. They're like, oh, okay, so you just rebound the ball and keep kicking it out to Kevin Durant to shoot. Okay, that does work. Yeah.
So that's what we got.
I did feel like I did have this game on. I feel like I watched all the wrong games last night. I had this game on at all. I'm just looking at the block numbers, so I'm clearly wrong, but it felt like Purdue got blocked. They had about 17 three-pointers blocked in that game from what I saw, but apparently not, because only 5 on the stat sheet. Nebraska
was a road dog to unranked Iowa, and the Cyclones proved the odds makers right in that one. They won that one outright 57-52. The team everybody seems to be talking about, number 14, Florida, did beat South Carolina 76-62, but they did not cover the 23.5-point spread, Kelly Bidlin. Yeah. Didn't quite get there.
Who's the second most popular futures bet you've heard behind Florida in college basketball over I'm going to say the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe.
Boy,
because it feels like it has been Florida.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I think it's like Florida by a landslide.
Me too, and I will have my Florida State gear running like crazy through another NCAA tournament as I try to root against them.
I mean, I'm a little biased because we've had a little bit of Kansas love here on the program.
I did bet Kansas.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of Kansas.
We did get a little Kansas love. That's all I needed to make a bet. That's for sure.
Unranked NC State was an 8.5-point home favorite over North Carolina. They got it done 82-58. Don't see that very often there. Nearly a 9-point favorite for an unranked over number 16 seed, but there it is. They get it done 82-58. Number 15 Michigan State won and covered the 8.5 versus UCLA 82-59. Rhode Island won outright as 9.5-point dogs over number 18 St. Louis, so a nearly double-digit dog gets it home against a ranked opponent. Miami of Ohio won and covered the 2.5 on the road over UMass to move to 26-0 on the season.
Yeah, I found that game for a few minutes. I am all about the Miami of Ohio undefeated streak, okay? Yeah. I thought it was cool early in the season. We had Nebraska in them, and it was like nobody was talking about either one because it wasn't serious. And I think I saw yesterday they're still projected for like an 11 seed. I know where they are and how good of a basketball team they are, but an undefeated season, that's awesome. Let's keep it going.
We got Ohio State is a 1.5-point favorite over Wisconsin. They get it done 86-69, easily cover that one. SMU beat number 21 Louisville outright as a 3.5-point dog. Again, another just kind of outright dog winning here in college basketball. And finally, 7.5-point dog. Arizona State beat Texas Tech, the number 13 team in the land, 72-67 last night. But Kelly, the big story coming out of this preseason All-American JT Toppin left this game at the 6:07 mark of the second half with a lower body leg injury thing. He limped off and was needing some help to get to the sideline. Averaging 22 points on the season for this Texas Tech team. He had 20 and 8 at the time that he was hurt with 6 minutes left in the game, but he was unable to come back, and so they do lose again outright as 7.5-point favorites in that game.
Yeah, saw that injury. Not good for Toppin, who's kind of been bouncing back and forth on where he's going to go NBA draft conversations. I've seen him kind of end of first round into that second round area mainly, but man, I've read a couple people that were pretty high on him. So yeah, not didn't look good from what I saw with him going down.
And then we got a bunch of hockey that is coming up here. You got some thoughts from Jay Kahn here?
I do. We talked to Jay Kahn here before the show. We've got Olympic hockey going. We'll have one going through the show here. Czechia and Canada starts here in about 30 minutes. Jay Kahn. Be careful out in the streets.
The handsomest hockey handicapper in all of Canada.
That's right. Be careful out in the streets in Canada, because he did text me, Czechia plus 3.5, quote, this line is getting out of control against Canada. I guess Canada's taking all the money, so he is taking 3.5 goals with Czechia in that game that does start in about 30 minutes. I'm going to join him so we have some fun during the show here. And then I already made one other bet. So later then we really pick it up. We've got Switzerland and Finland. That one will be at 12:10 Eastern, and then Sweden, USA, 3:10 Eastern this afternoon. So those should be fun watches for us here later today. I did do a USA money line with the Cavs tomorrow night money line parlay. I just put that in before the show. Let's go USA. We'll be watching this hockey. I will say though, Matt, I don't know if you caught my text earlier. Shenanigans with this format. You kidding me? All four of these teams had to play yesterday. USA and Canada been resting for like 5 days.
Listen, you help out the people that won whenever they
just setting up the start
here. NFL news, and Tiger said, what about the Masters?
Really?
There is no other college basketball betting analyst quite like it. His passion is unparalleled. He handicaps every game, every day, all season long. Sleep is not an option for him. He stays fresh by running 12 miles a day, every day, while doing his podcast and answering your tweets. He is Greg Hoops Peterson.
Tame the madness of March by catching Greg Peterson on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
What's going on, everybody? Stormy Bond and Tony here. Coming up Wednesday on Follow the Money, myself and Dustin Sweetelson filling in for Mitch and Paulie one more day, and we have a loaded show on deck. Of course, looking ahead to the golf, professional handicapper Jeff Seeley going to join the program. The maestro himself, Mike Palm, in his usual spot. You cannot be serious. Always excited to see what Palm is fired up about, and plenty of Olympic hockey. Plus, looking ahead to NHL futures. Our MLB previews will continue, and so much more. It's all on Follow the Money Wednesday.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is a numbers game here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Wednesday. Sirius Channel 158, YouTube TV, VSiN Watch app, Game Plus, and terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. Kelly, Evan tweets in and says, I don't think you can put load management on a 19-year-old as a reasonable sell. And he said this isn't baseball. I understand what listen.
It's the NBA. There's no reasonable sells.
Listen, I'm not saying that we buy it. But if you're just Joe average fan and your team is losing anyway, and you go, hey, we don't want to overwork our young superstar, they're going 60% of fan base, 70% of the fan base be like, oh, that makes sense for sure. We're not going anywhere anyway. Like, yeah, let's not play. You could literally even go into the fact that he only played X amount of minutes, whatever you could say in his in college last year. And he's probably already eclipsed that, I would have guessed, by a large margin already this year.
Oh, yeah. Big time. It's always one of the things where you get concerned about with rookies kind of burning out towards the end of the season.
I actually think it is. I think you could sell it to the majority of the fans. I think, sure, sharper sports fans know what's going on, but I think the majority of people.
Try to think how to phrase this. The Mavericks fans have been through way worse in the past couple of years than if Cooper Flag has to hit the bench.
Yeah, I mean, if he's playing 20 minutes a night, and you're going because we don't want to burn out the legs of this child, I think it plays.
It is. Let's just play this out real quick though. The Luka trade. It's awful. They've already kind of moved on beyond that. You get Anthony Davis out. You've completely hit the reset button now. It was so lucky already that they landed with that lottery ball to get Cooper Flag. If they somehow pull off enough, if they're able to grab one of these top 3, 4, 5 guys that in this draft class and add him alongside,
then you do have a legitimate team.
Yeah, like the quick rebuild after a disaster move like the Luka trade is just one of the wildest things in sports.
So you threw into the rundown here this morning. The 49ers are going to play a regular season game in Melbourne, Australia. They're also going to play a game in Mexico City. And then they have to go to the Falcons and they have to go to the Giants as well this year. So you're going to have a 49ers team making a trip to Australia, to Mexico City, and then across the country to Atlanta and across the country to New York. Now, we'll say this as we say all the time. This is not like years past. These dudes are taking charter flights. They're getting treated like royalty on these trips. However, that is a lot of traveling. It's a lot of travel.
Gil and I have talked about this a lot. Do you not feel like this is getting out of control? And I don't like to be
the
that
international
guy.
games.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's become too many. And this is, you know what? Like when we talk about Mexico City, this is where it gets unfair. I know we're trying to build an international fan base, right? Mexico City's not as bad because what I care most about is for the fans and the viewers. In most of these other international trips are just creating chaotic viewing schedules for the viewers out there. And then, yes, the teams are getting affected by the massive travel. I mean, we're talking, as Field notes, this might be the most traveled team in NFL history next season. It's going to be crazy.
So I will say,
I mean, it is something you and I look at. These are things we look at when we're looking at win totals and everything every year. Who's traveling like this?
The flight, it's actually not near as bad as, I mean, I guess, once you start to do the kind of the geography in your head, you do the math. The flight to Mexico, it's 4 hours, 20 minutes for San Francisco. So it's far further to go to Atlanta and New York than it is from San Francisco, because those are definitely like 5.5 hour flights and all of that. But yeah, the one to Australia, I don't know if anyone's ever made that trip. That's a haul.
Yeah, again, Mexico City. Yeah. That's why I said I feel bad, because things aren't created equal, right? Yes. It makes way more sense to play Mexico City than some of these other ones. But just in general, man, I know what they're trying to do. They've said it 15 years ago. They wanted to build 20 years ago, they want to build the international audience. I get it. It's working to a degree. But like, at what point does hurting the U.S. audience, not matter? Yeah. And it's starting to feel like that.
Well, I mean, the Australia game has to be the first game of the year, right? I mean, you can't go down there.
I would assume so.
You can't go down there in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking literally, you're talking like a half a day flight. Yeah, you're talking a half a day flight. Like, you can't do that. Stephon Diggs' cap charge is going to increase from $9.5 million to $26.5 million next year, Kelly. So those sources linked to the organization believe that he will either have to rework that contract or he will join the list of people who are getting released as well, because while Stephon Diggs certainly was a nice contributor for them this year, not a $26.5 million contributor for that Patriots team. So they've also been in the discussions as teams that are potentially looking to trade for A.J. Brown as well. So obviously couldn't afford A.J. Brown. Also, Stephon Diggs with $26.5 million contract attached to his name. So we'll either be hearing about Diggs reworking that thing with him, or we will hear about him becoming a free agent.
Yeah, I think he's a tough one to guess about, honestly. Like, it just depends how these guys view themselves in their careers now, right? Like, I think it could make a lot of sense for Diggs to think about a more team-friendly contract and come back with a young quarterback.
I was actually surprised that he made $10 million this year. I mean, because the state of his career, like I thought he was kind of on one of those like prove it $5 million deals, and then then you go make the 10 after a season like last season.
And look, I think you could, if you know the Patriots are out there, they're going to be out there looking for wide receiver help. Like Diggs, you can make it easier, right? Like the Patriots would probably rather have you back on a team-friendly deal than go way overpay, for an A.J. Brown or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. So interesting stuff there. Again, this is a team that we said we would love if they could go and get a wide receiver one. I just don't think that this Patriot team has one right now, and I think the lack of playmakers ended up showing up right there in the Super Bowl as well. So we have a beat writer for the 49ers saying that they do not expect to re-sign Juwan Jennings. He is an impending free agent. Of course, we know the whole Brandon Ayuk thing, which means he's going to either be traded or released because we know they don't want him in town. He didn't want to be there. So this 49ers team that we said we did not agree with any sort of love for the 49ers and prices attached to the 49ers for sure, are basically down to Ricky Pearsall. And that's it at receiver. So I don't care how good your coaching staff is and what you think of Brock Purdy and all of that, but if Kittle even comes back, which again I think is an if, it would be an aging Kittle coming off of a horrific leg injury, and Ricky Pearsall, like, you better do something. You better do something quick.
Yeah, what a weird. Just how did this unravel with these wide receivers there? It's just kind of odd, and especially Ayuk, right? It's like we've been talking about this for like a year and a half now. It feels like about them moving him, and we're still sitting here talking about it. They got to do something. This is going to be a fun offseason, I think. With the
faded them so hard last season, Kelly, and like it bit me because again that just the super easy schedule just played out. I'm going to fade them again this year. I can promise you. When win totals get posted, when all the stuff gets posted, because they'll be elevated because it's the 49ers and it's Shanahan and it's whatever. Okay, fine. Please give me an elevated total again so I can fade it.
I mean, it's just I might be a little higher on the team than you are, but like you're still talking about a division that has the two best teams in football right now. Right. Not just the NFC, not the NFC West. In football, they still have the two best teams in the Seahawks and the Rams.
Mike Evans is going to return for a 13th NFL season. That being said, he is a free agent. He's going to sit down with the Bucs and talk it over with them. But should he decide to hear from other teams, he can start doing that on March the 9th. And he has said in the past, though, he did want to be a Buck for life, Kelly. So I imagine he will do everything he can to get something worked out with that Bucs team. But, nothing is a given. We have seen aging guys switch teams and things like that when they don't get the money that they think that they deserve. So we'll see what plays out there with Mike Evans. We were wondering whether he was going to retire or not. He is not. He's going to be back.
Yeah, I think pretty good chance, he's just back with Tampa Bay. I would love to see him hit the open market, right? We'll just go every one of these teams. Feel like we're talking about a new team every day here that needs a wide receiver. I mean, if he wanted to, even at his age, right, Matt? Like, if he wanted to, we're talking yesterday about Tyreek Hill being linked to Baltimore, right? Like that. I think Mike Evans makes even more sense for a Lamar Jackson target than Tyreek Hill does. I mean, Buffalo, San Francisco, all of these teams that are championship kind of quality teams that kind of need a piece like that.
Yeah, and the kind of the deal about him is, he's getting up there in age or something, but like Evans was always relied on his physicality. It wasn't like he was a burner.
Right.
He didn't so like the stuff that you would be like, dude, are you really going to go sign this guy that's not part of his game anyway, right?
He can still box out 5'10" cornerbacks in the back of the end zone and get up there and catch a touchdown pass for sure.
So that's kind of what you would be doing with him. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract, lowering that cap number by a ton from $78 to $34 million. That's going to create about $43 million in cap space. I think this Chiefs team looked around this front office, and even Patrick Mahomes, who's rich anyway and probably understands he will be a Chief for life, and so he doesn't want to go through the whole, oh man, we're bad stage, So it's like, I'll take my deferred money. That's fine. I'll take it down the line. Can we try and go get some players? Can we try to stay competitive? Because he started, when you had some time off, he wasn't playing, remember? He had some time off to watch some of these other teams and go, oh, that team's really good. And that team's on the upswing. We are not going to be the Chiefs that just walk through and walk to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, and nobody's going to be talking about us like that anymore either. Like, we're on that top tier, no matter what, just because they have me.
Yeah, so
it's always interesting, though, when you see this in sports. Because I as you get older, right, it's tougher to think about, like, you don't want to play on a crappy team. That's a lot of money to be like, I know I deserve it, but you guys take it and use it elsewhere.
Guys, if you haven't been to VSiN.com today, head on over there. You're going to get Wes's golf write-up. You're going to get the Major League Baseball betting guide if you are a pro subscriber. Jonathan Davis on Olympic hockey. Greg Peterson, as always, on college basketball. $9.99 for your first month if you are not already a VSiN Pro subscriber. And if you are, just go in there and take in the great work by all those guys.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It is a numbers game here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Matt and Kelly with you as we roll through all that NFL news. Pretty heavy NFL news day here on a Wednesday.
Yeah, really has been.
Anytime you can bring up Patrick Mahomes and Stephon Diggs and all of that stuff, Mike Evans.
I'll tell you, some of this news, though, we've been kicking around for the past week. Like, it's going to be an exciting offseason. It always is. I'm usually a sucker for the NBA offseason. I love it. It's a reality show. It's a great reality show. The NFL's going to bring it this offseason, though.
Well, now joining us here on the program, we'll see if he has any quick thoughts on any of that stuff. You see him here all the time. Also, the host of Should Have Bet More podcast, not the Will Hill. Will Hill, how you doing, buddy?
Boys, what's going on? Yeah, it's always football is one of those things you can always talk about, whether it's July, whether it's the middle of the season. Football discussion always plays.
Did you what did you think of the whole restructuring Patrick Mahomes contract thing? I mean, our take was he had some time to sit around and just watch football since he wasn't playing, and looked around and goes, oh, there's some pretty good teams out there, and some teams are on the up. Maybe we need to go get some players in here.
Yeah, I think there's probably something to that. And it's interesting because, you know, they're kind of out of sight, out of mind once he got hurt. And it's like, all right, they're losing all these games. You don't really think about it. And if you're not paying attention, you don't realize they've got the 9th pick in the draft. So you get into this debate of like, is Love, the running back from Notre Dame, who's outstanding? Would that be a good fit? Should you just wait if you need a running back? And they haven't had like a real running game in a while, a real difference maker. But man, I know it's not, all the draft nerds, the analytic nerds will say, running backs, that's just too high. First round, 9th pick. You got to find it on something better. And I think there's a lot of truth to that for the most part. But boy, that guy would be tempting to put him with Mahomes, get a little more juice in the running game. And obviously, you got the receivers intact. I think if they didn't get hurt, it obviously would have been a different season. It's just things got off the rails for them. But Love at 9 would be a fascinating fit for them.
Will, I know a lot of us have been talking about on all the shows since these markets have opened up around the NFL. Anything that you've bet yet that you really like? Divisions, conference, Super Bowl, MVP, anything like that?
No, the one we talked last week about the Chargers at 15-1. I know it's the Chargers. I know they never win. I know Herbert never wins. I just think their weakness last year was their offensive line, and that's really the strength of their team. And they're going to get 2 of the best offensive linemen back. Good defense, good coach. I still think he's a good quarterback. I know he's been horrible in the playoffs, and I have a hard time keep defending because that was a terrible performance against New England, and he's been bad in all 3 playoff games he's played. And I'd like a little more than 15-1 to be fair, especially in the division where the Chiefs are still there with Mahomes, and you have the number 1 seed in Denver. It feels a little short at 15-1, but I think directionally the Chargers are a good bet. I know people are going to look at the Giants and think they could follow the Patriots blueprint. Second year, exciting quarterback with some promise. New coach, just like Vrabel was. You're going to get Harbaugh, a guy who's had success in the past. So all of those things match what the Patriots did. And they did have a pretty good draft when you look at Carter, who, if he can get his head on straight, talented player, to go with Scatabo, another high pick this year, Neighbors. I could see them making a leap, but people taking a shot on them 70-80-1 feels ambitious. But hey, I guess we would have said the same thing this time last year about the Seahawks and the Patriots.
Will Hill, we do have 3 college basketball plays from you, but we skipped down to one of your plays today, and it's certainly this was typed in the thing wrong because we have Olympic men's hockey, and it says that you're going to take the other side of the United States of America. Huh? Really?
I don't know a ton about hockey, I will admit, but I know about betting, and people bet what they want to root for. USA. Everyone's going to put USA in their money line parlays, lay the puck in half. I just think from that standpoint, there has to be value on the other side, doesn't there? So I will take Sweden plus 1.5. We had Jonathan Davis last night on VSiN Primetime. He likes Sweden on the money line. So just from a contrarian standpoint, people bet what they want to root for. I think there has to be value on the dog here, even though it is un-American and I am a bad patriot for even suggesting this play.
Kelly, you think Will Hill's like a don't pass line guy?
When
he walks up to the craps table,
Will,
he plays the don't pass line?
Yeah, Will, it's a quality argument for someone I know who lightly bets hockey very little like you do. Matt and I decided to create a list of the other most buzzkill bets and
guys
moments
that
you know.
I think he's either don't pass line guy, maybe he's
don't pass line guy.
Maybe he's shares fantasy team bad beat story guy. Could he be that? Is that basically?
Could be that.
Mark me down for a bogey guy after he's blacked blasted 3 into the water, and then he comes out and he's like, just mark me down for a bogey. Like no big deal. But that talks politics at a party, like probably, just everyone's having a great time, like just brings on, just decides to fire off about his political. Are any of these you also, Will Hill?
No comment.
On any of these.
All right, well, for me included and everybody else that did throw the USA money line into a parlay, how about the US by 1? We'll take that, right? Then we can both win.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, well.
That's it. That works. Those numbers work.
We do have.
We have money line. That's all we played.
Let's get over to college basketball, and you were going to take a dog here in the Missouri-Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, I'll take Missouri plus the points here, and if you look, depends on what bracket you look at. They're either like the last team out, last team in. They are as bubble gets. Now, that's a dangerous way to handicap. The market knows they're on the bubble. The odds know they're on the bubble. All of that. Dr. Bob always says if it's a must-win game, you must not be very good. If everyone always won their must-win games, nobody would ever get eliminated. All of that being said, Vandy's they're a good team, well-coached. They really lack size. I think Missouri can attack the rim. That's really their strength on offense from a matchup standpoint. Motivation standpoint, you got a home team getting points, motivated. I think a good matchup to take advantage of the lack of size for Vandy, who's more skilled than Missouri, and I'm worried Vandy's it's going to be you make a 3, I make a 2, and that math doesn't quite work. But I'll take the points here with Missouri. I think they'll bounce back. Rough loss Saturday against Texas. I think it's a good spot for them to get on the right side of the bubble with a win here.
All right, great. And we've got more college basketball. Let's fire through those because I know you got an MLB prop too we want to discuss at the end here, Will.
Oklahoma State here it's up to 6 here. I'm seeing I got 5.5, so I didn't get the best of the number. At home against Kansas, boys, get ready for an entire draft cycle of Darren Peterson. Does he love basketball? Is he injury prone? And honestly, I don't know what's worth because last game out against Iowa State where they got buried, 23 minutes, 10 points. It's always something. He's always in and out of these games. And I just think the market assumes he's fully healthy, good to go, engaged, committed, and he's in. That's really been a 50-50 dicey proposition throughout the year. So I'm going to take Oak State plus 6. They're not even quite on the bubble. They're 5-6 teams back, depending on which bracket you look at. So they've got some work to do. But, hey, a win at home against Kansas would go a long way to getting them in the conversation. You can't count on Peterson. Who knows if it's injuries? Is it he's just protecting his stock for the draft? There's going to be plenty of that discussed here May and June leading up to the draft. But I'll take the home dog plus the points. And I'll take BYU. There's a 12.5 right now at DraftKings. This has gotten bet up.
Whoa.
I know no Saunders for BYU, and he matters. He's going to be an NBA player. He stretches the floor. They don't have a lot of that. He matters. And I know Arizona's off 2 losses in their home. You might be walking into a buzzsaw. Maybe Arizona wins the game by 30. But these teams played a month ago, and the line was 2, and now it's 12. I just think this is an overreaction. You're really paying for the spot here with Arizona. And I know Saunders is out, but Koa Pete, the outstanding freshman, he is an outstanding freshman for Arizona, is also out. So I'm going to take the points with BYU. I know it's not pretty, and it might be walking into a dangerous spot. I just think this is a lot of points here for a team that still does have DeBonza and can maybe get in the back door, which they've been known to do here this season.
Glad you threw some Major League Baseball in here, Will, because we have been talking a bunch of baseball here on the program as we get ready for, of course, our baseball guide being out right now over at VSiN.com. And then, of course, I think a lot of people aren't really looking at it right now, and that's a good thing for people who do want to go in because these lines haven't moved crazy out of the direction. You and I are on the same thought process here. I don't have a 104.5 in, but I do have a 103.5 in. But you are fading any team that has a win total that high.
Yes, so DraftKings has a prop, and check out the menus, by the way. Adam Burke, I've been reading his baseball writers from well before he was at VSiN. He does as good a job, better a job than anybody. They're outstanding. I really can't recommend them enough. The baseball guide's outstanding. But DraftKings, check out their menu. They post a lot of stuff. Will there be a team that wins 105 games is basically the bet. I bet the no at minus 115. If you want to just take the Dodgers under 103.5, that's probably a better bet because – who else is going to win 105? So it depends on how you want to look at it. But I just don't think the Dodgers, who admittedly load managed last year, they paced themselves with Snell, with Glasnow, with Ohtani, and said, you know what, we're going to be in the playoffs. We'll see you then. Whether we win 93, 103, 108, it really doesn't matter. We'll see you in October, and we'll just try to get healthy. They won the World Series, so I think they'll take the same approach this year and not get to 104, 105. And you know what? Look, it worked for him last year. And quietly, some of those bats starting to get a little age. Mookie Betts has been around a while. His numbers started to drop a little. He's in his mid-30s. So getting 104, 105 is a lot of wins. So I prefer, just because DraftKings is 102.5 with the Dodgers, I prefer under 104.5 for any major league team. And you can find that DraftKings minus 115.
Should have bet more podcast at Not the Will Hill over on the Twitter machine. He is, in fact, Will Eats the Last Slice of Pizza Hill over there. So, buddy, appreciate the time, and go USA.
That last part is true. Eat the last slice of pizza. That one, I'm not going to pass a lie detector.
That one he'll wear. Yeah. That one he's going to wear, Kelly. Like you said, we can all win.
That's right. We can all win.
I would prefer them just win by 5, and then that way you don't have to worry about anything.
You don't have to sweat
it we could do that. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more baseball. The AL East, one of the most talked about divisions in all of the sport, and see if we can't find a bet we want to throw in the account.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Prop Points takes you to the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports with hosts Jeff Erickson and Nick Whalen of RotoWire.
He's the one that's the trendiest. He's the one that's going the earliest of the three, and in some leagues I've seen him go as early as the second round.
The one thing that stood out to me here is, value-wise, I would take a look at Dorian Finney-Smith over 2.5 boards.
They'll help you find the connection between the two and give you expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game here on VSiN. Getting ready for our Olympic hockey bet to get going. Oh, it is going.
Oh, we're underway, man.
We're going.
Scoreless game.
Got to stay within 4. Got to stay within 4. Oh, boy. That probably wasn't good for us.
Canada goal!
Yeah, I'm going to guess that probably wasn't good for us. Yeah.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
All right, well,
Do you think that this was a giant Jake Hahn ruse to have us lose a bet because he actually secretly bet Canada because we were ragging him yesterday about the U.S.-Canada women's game?
And he seems like way too nice of a guy, but doesn't that, like, he could just be sitting at home right now
laughing. He was listening to the program as we were making the bets, and he's just going, got him. Got him. Yeah, he's like turns around and marks 3 more little dashes on his board behind. He's like, got him. There we go, 3 more.
Sucker Americans, yeah. I got again.
Oh man, yeah, that was an early goal too. They hadn't been playing very long.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Yep.
They haven't been playing very long.
Okay.
Well, we'll yep. That's 3 minutes in.
You're catching 4. I'm catching 3.5.
That's 3 minutes in.
Let's just let's tough it up, defense.
Yeah, let's try to.
Come on, goalie.
See what we can do. Yes, Mr. Goalie.
Yeah.
Since we don't know a single player.
Goalie.
We don't know a single player on the team. Listen, we don't claim to be hockey sharps, so it's okay. It's part of the bit, you know. We don't claim to be hockey.
Lucas Dostal. He is the goaltender for the Anaheim Ducks.
Apparently, that was Macklin Celebrini on the goal.
Return of the Mac,
who apparently was a sleeper pick to lead the team in goals or something like that. And I guess he is, and I guess some people are thinking they're going to cash some tickets or something.
Okay, well, good for those.
So I'm trying to follow along here on the sparse conversation you get on Twitter, whatever it was. It used to be 160 characters at a time, or 140 characters at a time, but
yeah,
now you can just type like whole diatribes.
That was a better time. Yeah,
when you couldn't just type 9 paragraphs on Twitter.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, the whole when you go to open it up and you're like, oh, let me just finish this tweet, and then you open it up and you're like, there's 6 more paragraphs. Never mind. Yeah, Lucas Dostal. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it right. Starting goaltender for the Anaheim Ducks. All right. we got a mighty duck out there.
Okay,
got a mighty duck.
Well. Didn't start out too well.
It's the goalie.
Yeah, we're going to get it going here.
I've been teaching Gil a lot about the Mighty Ducks over the past couple months.
We just talked to Will Hill, who said Adam Burke and company over there do the best job that he has in the industry, he said, on the baseball betting guides and write-ups. And so guess what? We have it available for you, too, if you want to go in and get it. If you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, you just got to go to VSiN.com/guide, and you can download that puppy right now. It's part of your membership, but if you want to get it a la carte, $19.99 to come in and take part in what we believe is some of the most valuable content that you can get here at this network. These betting guides that get you prepped for the betting season, let you know all these players that have been on the move, all of the teams that kind of have the upside, the teams that we think are going to be down. And in baseball, you're going to hear all the guys over all summer long talking about all these advanced statistics and things like that, because that's how we really try to bet baseball, be predictive as opposed to what's already happened. We got a stats glossary in there as well, so that you can go in and figure out all about all that stuff. Again, VSiN.com/guide, Major League Baseball guide out already.
XFIP.
Currently. Yes. Expected fielding independent pitching.
Which is different from fielding independent pitching.
Sierra.
I don't know that one.
Skill interactive ERA.
Yeah, I was like something ERA. I don't know. Skill interactive.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
see,
there's just
you can get it all in the glossary.
So all of this stuff over there in the glossary.
I thought we had a good conversation. Was that Monday or last week about just kind of the how to bet baseball? Because this is a perfect example, right? Mm-hmm. When I was betting 12 years ago, we were not using terms like this all the time. You know?
No, you were just looking at the counting stats, and that's kind of it's kind of where you go wrong. I mean, and that's not to say that the counting stats always lie to you. I would have looked at the counting stats for Cal Raleigh last year and just been like, okay, there's no way he's keeping up this pace. I would
exactly, yeah.
But then you look at the underlying metrics, and you're like, oh, he's hitting the ball very hard. Like you could see, every time he's just barreling it up. These are not lucky home runs. These home runs are clear. That's the other thing you can look at. How many of the home runs would be out in X amount of the parks in baseball and all of that. And it's like, oh, most of these would have been out in every single park in all of baseball. And so, yeah, it's just like you look at this guy who went from 34 to just this torrid pace, and I'm like, okay, that's That's slowing down for sure.
I would have immediately thought that 15 years ago.
And then you go and he's like, oh no, he's barreling the ball like a lot. These are all going way out of the park. Like all of the stuff that we can gather now that, like I said, you just wouldn't even thought to
It's a
look
great
at.
example. I think it's a great example, of how this stuff is. And look, it's not just changed how we bet, right? It's changed how teams operate and run things, right? Like this is, you further this along, we talk about NBA tanking, right? Like this all of the advanced stats and the things that these teams have to work with lead to decisions like that, right? Is it better to be stuck at 500, or is it better to be in the tank and get a top draft pick, right?
The American League East is topped by the New York Yankees. It is then followed shortly by the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Orioles. All of these numbers, it's 160 for the Yankees at the top, 250 on the Jays, 310 on the Red Sox, and then 475 on the Orioles. Everybody knows I already have a Orioles win total bet in, I believe, in this team, though, of course, some bad news that Jackson Holliday is going to start the season on the IL because of a hamate thing, and that's the other, these hamates, you just don't know exactly how long it's going to take him to come back in and start swinging the bat properly again. That said, they do have a pretty deep team, and so I'm not incredibly worried about it, but certainly in a division this tough, you got to at least have some second thoughts about your bet there. The Red Sox improved a ton. The Jays, I think, got a little bit better. And then the Yankees, while they sat on the sideline for the majority of kind of free agency, and, actually they did an interview from spring training with Aaron Judge 2 days ago, and he was pretty candid about the fact that he went in to the front office and was kind of like, hey, guys, what are we doing? Like, because he said he was just watching like free agent after free agent after free agent, sign this place, sign that place, sign this place, sign that place, going, hey, fellas, what are we doing? We're making a bunch of tiny moves here. We're not making any big moves. We're going to be, we're going to be behind. And
they're obviously always thinking about World Series, but it's even more important. I mean, AL East is usually always one of the more competitive divisions, but I mean, look at these win totals. They're talking about the top team, Yankees, 90.5, bottom team, Rays, 77.5. There's not a very big separation between those five teams that we're talking about.
Not at all. And you look here, and so what we're going to get from this Yankees team, and the reason that I just can't really buy into it, you do get Max Fried at the top of the rotation. He's not like your prototypical ace, though. He's not your super hard thrower. He's not your super high K rate guy and all of that. He just limits hard contact. He's a ground ball pitcher. He keeps the ball from leaving the yard. He tries to beat you into the ground and all of that. But then past that, there's just a lot of question marks, in my opinion, in this rotation. Yes, Garrett Cole will be back at some point for them, but again, Garrett Cole's no spring chicken, and how's he going to look coming off of this injury? How long is it going to take him to ramp up and be looking like Garrett Cole again? And so I just can't get there with this Yankees team. I do have the under on them as well. It's kind of a correlated play. If I think the Orioles are going to be over, then one of these teams has to underperform, because you can't have all these teams hit their number and get home on the Orioles, And so I think that the underperforming team is the Yankees. A lot of love for the Blue Jays, a lot of love for the Red Sox out there in the betting market as well. I completely understand it. I mean, you look at this Red Sox lineup from top to bottom. Roman Anthony, one of the brightest prospects in all of baseball. You get some Jarren Duran in there. Wilson Contreras, by the way, is now over and is a Red Sox. And so you look at some of these younger dudes that are huge prospects. You do need them to come around, but it is a really, really good lineup. And of course, if you have a pitching staff that is anchored by Garrett Crochet, who, if there was no such thing as Tarek Skubal, all we'd be talking about is Garrett Crochet. But Skubal, unfortunately, is in the American League over there, just like I'm sure a lot of pitchers are going to say, unfortunately, Skeens is over in the NL. But yeah, Crochet, another fantastic season. Ranger Suarez now in that rotation. Sonny Gray in that rotation. You got, and Brian Bello is in that rotation. I mean, it's a pretty good 1 to 4, and then the 5 spot, they'll figure it out, kind of what they're going to do there. A lot of teams are still figuring out what they're going to do with their 5th spot. And so again, then you get to the Blue Jays. Obviously made the run. Springer, Barger, Guerrero, Varsho, Kirk, Jesus Sanchez joins this lineup. You get Jimenez in there as well, Ernie Clement, and then you get a rotation with Gausman. Dylan Cease is now added to that rotation. Trey Savage, of the guy that had an unbelievable postseason, if you guys remember him, kind of coming, his fantastic story, starting in single A and then goes all the way, and then has that. Jose Barrios is going to be that 4th spot, and then again, same deal. They'll figure out who they're going to put in that 5th spot. loaded division. I'm sure there's a bet that we could make on what division is going to win the World Series. And I know the Dodgers are the favorite, but boy, can you imagine if you, as part of that bet, you get the Yankees, Jays, Red Sox, and Orioles as part of, say that the winner's going to come from the AL East?
All right, we got a Chechia goal. That's good.
Okay, do we?
Yeah, and then real quick. Okay, we talking these teams. You like the Orioles. I'm looking at make playoff odds right now. Yankees minus 380, Blue Jays minus 280, Red Sox minus 195. Which one of those teams does